Events are how we learn, collaborate, and celebrate at the University of Michigan. Each year, there are thousands of events on campus. Unfortunately, all of these events generate waste and contribute to the university's impact on the environment. Events are here to stay, but the waste doesn't have to. This brief online training will give you the basics you need to start planning for a successful zero-waste event on UM's Ann Arbor campus. Many individuals and groups on campus are choosing to make their event zero waste, with the goal of achieving as much waste diversion from the landfill as possible. The standard is to divert at least 90% of the waste from the event. Zero waste events should avoid the use of plasticware, plan for and utilize available compost and recycling systems, and educate the campus community on best practices to reduce waste. So why is it a growing priority for events on campus to be zero waste? In 2011, the University of Michigan adopted campus-wide sustainability goals. One of those goals is to reduce waste being sent to landfills by 40% by 2025. We have found that on campus, roughly 35% of what is being sent to landfills is compostable material, even in buildings without food service. Much of this comes from internal university events, from staff luncheons to larger celebratory events. This means community members can make a significant impact toward achieving our waste reduction goal by choosing zero waste events. Anyone and everyone on campus can make their next event a zero waste event. The program is well suited for staff events ranging from informal small staff luncheons and meetings to large external events a department may be hosting. The Zero Waste Events program can help provide technical assistance as well as materials to help make the event successful. Student events of varying sizes can also work through the Zero Waste Events program for assistance. The Office of Campus Sustainability, the Waste Reduction and Recycling Office, and the Student Sustainability Initiative work together to help students implement zero waste events. Before we get started on how to plan a zero waste event, let's take a moment to make sure we know the proper placement of items commonly found on campus. Even with good planning, it may be unrealistic to completely avoid generating any waste at all from an event. In order to minimize waste as much as possible, it is important to reduce the waste coming into the event from the source and make sure what remains is recyclable or compostable. At the common recyclable items from events are plastic bottles, cups and tubs, printed paper, cardboard or boxboard, aluminum cans, and clean aluminum foil and trays. More information on what is or is not recyclable, including printable posters, can be found at recycle.umich.edu. Keeping the compost collection clean from contaminants is a bit more complicated because it requires that compostable waste be completely clean and uncontaminated. Your number one priority on the day of the event is to make sure only compostable material is placed in the compost collection container. Compostable items include all food waste, napkins, and compostable ware such as plates, utensils, and cups that meet compostability standards. These standards include BPI certification, ASTM D6400, and ASTM D6868. These standards should be found on the product's packaging or the product itself. If you don't know for sure, put it in the landfill. Make sure these common contaminants don't find their way into your compost bin. The best defense is avoiding having these and other potential contaminants at the event. Plastic coffee stir sticks, non-compostable coffee cups, single-serve condiment containers or packets, and toothpicks. Having trained volunteers at each waste station will help ensure any potential contaminants are properly placed in the recycling or trash receptacles. Thoughtful planning and preparation before the event can help ensure no contamination ruins your compost and will help make it a successful event. Now that you know what it means to have a zero waste event, it's time to understand how to actually plan one for yourself. One of the easiest ways to get started is to check out our Zero Waste Events Guide on the program website. This will lead you through the process of putting in a request for composting services and resources, as well as providing a task checklist. A zero waste event should reduce waste at every possible point, including how you get the word out. Since not generating the waste to begin with is the first step to a zero waste event, it is essential that you let your caterer know you are working toward a zero waste event and discuss what menu and packaging options can help support that goal. Tell your caterer specific items you do not want supplied, such as plastic flatware, stir sticks, and single-serve condiments. Program staff can review the menu items to help identify ways to avoid waste. Check out the Zero Waste Events Guide for tips on wasteless event promotion, event planning and day of checklists, and how to plan and communicate food orders. The next step is to place your order for the compost resources and service. This is done through the Plant Operations Call Center online system. There is specific information that will need to be included in the work order, including event date, location, and how many compost boxes and carts will be needed. The Zero Waste Events Guide can walk you through this process to help ensure the right options are selected and the clearest verbiage is used. Once the work request is submitted, you should receive an email with the work order number, which ends with a dash in the fiscal year. Keep this number. You should then click on the application form link on the program website to submit your request for technical assistance and compostable ware. This form will ask for your work order number so we can help you track the delivery of your compost collection box and cart. Aside from making sure you have the compost bin and service ordered, the most essential thing for hosting a successful zero waste event is finding and training volunteers to be the event's zero heroes. Volunteers are critical to ensure the success of composting at zero waste events. If the collected compost is contaminated with trash or other non-compostables, the entire bag may need to be taken to the landfill. Make sure all your efforts do not go to waste. If you are a staff person, finding and engaging volunteers might begin with going to members of an office green team or connecting with Planet Blue ambassadors. A pre-event training with volunteers is critical to help ensure the same message will be conveyed to everyone and to answer any questions. Volunteers should be familiar with what waste stream is expected from the event and proper placement of each specific item. A 5-minute online training is available on the Zero Waste Events Program webpage. On the day of the event, you must first make sure that your waste stream is properly set up. This includes having the appropriate bins placed together in a readily identifiable and accessible location. Recycling bins should be labeled and should contain a blue lining. Compost collection bins need a green compostable liner and must be clearly marked as well. These posters and labels can be found at recycle.umich.edu. Each waste station must also be staffed with a volunteer. Make sure these volunteers know why their role is important to making the zero waste event successful. Their number one priority is to ensure only compostable materials end up in the compost collection bins. After the event, tie the compost bags closed and take them to the cart provided at the loading dock. So now that you know everything about how to host a successful zero waste events program, let's make sure you know where to place these common items. As the pictures are displayed, consider what the appropriate placement for them would be. If you have any lingering questions about the proper placement of items, email recycle@umich.edu. Congratulations! You now should be ready to start planning your zero waste event. Remember to review the Zero Waste Events Guide and visit the Zero Waste Events Program website to place your work order and submit the application for event assistance. Anyone wanting compostable materials to be provided must have completed this short 3-question quiz.